You made something the client loved. Then they said, change the text and match our brand. And the tool that wowed everyone couldn't. You regenerated, and it broke the parts you wanted to keep. Almost every best AI design tool ranking scores the first picture. Your real work is the second one. Revision, brand match, handoff. So I'm not ranking by what looks prettiest in a demo. I'm ranking by what survives a real Tuesday. Most famous names don't. The keepers, the ones to ignore, and a test for the next tool. And number one isn't a tool. The frame. 5 jobs, 1 wrong axis. Here's why those 20 rankings all disagree with each other. They treat graphic design like it's one job. It isn't. It's at least 5. Having the idea, generating an image, making a logo or a vector, keeping a whole brand consistent across a set, and cleaning up the messy bits, the background, the upscale, the stray 6th finger. A tool that's brilliant at one of those can be useless at the next. So when one video crowns Midjourney and another crowns Canva, they're not really fighting. They're ranking 5 different races as if they were one. And the thing they all rank on is the demo. A demo is the tool on its best behavior. Perfect prompt, perfect lighting, no client. A named UX research group put it plainly in a May 2025 status report. An AI tool is only ever as good as its demos, which is never guaranteed once real work starts. They also found the tools had improved only marginally, nowhere near what the launch videos promised. And a separate 2026 report that surveyed about 400 designers landed in the same place. Adoption is uneven and the human still does the deciding. So I'm ranking by something duller and far more useful. Production survival. 4 questions, and they're the whole video. Does it survive revision 3? Does it stay on brand across a whole set? Can you hand off a file someone else can actually open and edit? And can you do it again next week without re-rolling the dice and praying? That's the axis. Now let's count down and watch the famous names start sliding off it. Number 5, Canva, the one designers love to sneer at. Number 5 is the one trained designers roll their eyes at, Canva. And for serious illustration fare, the snobs have a point. But you're probably not doing serious illustration. You're doing a social set, a pitch deck, a simple brand layout, and you need it done by Thursday. For that job, Canva survives because it does the boring middle of the work that the pretty generators skip. Layout, resizing one design into 10 formats, a locked brand kit, an export your client can open. Its Magic Studio bundles more than 20 AI features in one place, and its Pro plan sits around $15 a month at early 2026 pricing, with Magic Write capped near 500 uses a month. The honest limitation is sameness. Lean on the templates, and your work looks like everyone else's, because it literally is everyone else's, lightly recolored. So I keep Canva for speed and clean handoff on everyday brand work. I'd never open it to make something nobody's seen before. Number 4, Adobe Firefly, the boring one that ships. Number 4 is the tool nobody screenshots to show off, and that's exactly why it's on the list. Adobe Firefly. It rarely wins the beauty contest in a head-to-head. What it wins is the part that happens after the contest, actually shipping the image without a lawyer in the back of your mind. Adobe says Firefly is trained on licensed and public domain content, and it offers IP indemnification on qualifying paid plans, with enterprise coverage cited around $50,000. The terms vary by plan, so confirm yours before you bet a client campaign on it. But picture the freelancer putting a generated graphic on a paying client's billboard. For that person, trained on licensed data isn't boring. It's the entire reason to choose it. You can start free at roughly 25 credits a month, and standalone paid access begins near $10 monthly under current pricing. The trade is real. You give up a little jaw drop for a lot of peace of mind. Think about which mistake you can actually afford. A slightly less stunning hero image costs you nothing real. A takedown notice on a client's launch graphic, or a quiet worry that the image you sold them was trained on someone else's work, costs you the client. The useful signal is that safe to ship quietly beats stunning the moment a paying client is attached, which is why the unglamorous tool ranks above the flashy ones. Number 3, Recraft and the myth that AI can't do vector. Number 3 exists to kill a belief you've probably been carrying since 2023. That AI still can't do real vector or logo work. That was true, it isn't anymore. A small startup called Recraft was reported in early 2026 to top a public image generation leaderboard, an ELO around 1172, and roughly a 72% win rate against far bigger names. And here's where I disagree with the hype. That leaderboard is not why it's on my list. A crowd vote arena measures which picture people like, not which file survives your week. This is the real reason it's here. It exports true vector files, actual SVGs you can open, recolor, and scale on paid plans starting near $10 a month right now. Go back to question 3 on the test. Can you hand off an editable file? Most generators hand you a flat JPEG and wish you luck. Recraft hands you something a designer can reopen on Monday and not start over. The limitation worth naming up front. The free tier won't give you that SVG export, and free images are public by default. So the part that actually matters lies behind the paywall, which honestly is the most useful thing to know before you sign up. Number 2, the famous generators and where they die. Number 2 is where I lose half the comment section, so let me be careful and fair. Picture that freelancer again. It's Friday at 4. You've generated a genuinely beautiful concept. The client's thrilled, and then, love it. Now make the headline and say something different and match our exact blue. This is the exact spot where the famous generators live and die. Let me give each one its due first because they're genuinely good at one job, making the first image. Google's late 2025 model, Nano Banana Pro, is the most production aware of them. It's built for consistency, can blend up to 14 reference images, keep up to 5 people looking like themselves across shots, and render at 2K and 4K. Ideogram earns its slot for one narrow, valuable thing: text inside the image that's actually readable, on plans running about $7 to $42 a month at the moment. And Midjourney still makes the single most beautiful frame in the room. Its plans run from $10 at the low end to $120 at the top. And notice, they sell you blocks of GPU time, not a fixed number of images. The entry plan gives only about 3 fast hours a month. But ask Midjourney for reliable text and you found its oldest weak spot. Its own community quietly points you to other tools for that. Now watch the pattern across all 3. They are spectacular at the first picture and clumsy at the second one. Ask for the small change, the new headline, the brand blue, and you regenerate and the whole composition shifts and the thing you loved is just gone. You spend the afternoon fighting the tool to unimpress it back to what you already had. And it gets worse the moment you need a set, not a single hero image. Generate 5 social tiles for the same campaign, and tile 4 quietly stops matching tile 1. The lighting drifts, the style wanders, the brand color is close enough in a way your client will notice immediately. Nano Banana Pro is the one actively built to fix that drift, which is exactly why I trust it more for a real campaign than the prettier, less consistent options. That's why they aren't number 1, and it's why I don't even keep them the way the other rankings do. They're a raster generation tool you rent for the opening move, not the tool that finishes the job. The ignore list, the famous ones I'd skip on purpose. Now the part no ranking ever wants to do. Look, the ones I'd ignore on purpose. First, AI logo makers like Looka, for a real brand. They're cheap and fast. A one-time basic package around $20, up to roughly $129 a year for the full brand kit subscription. But the icons and fonts are non-exclusive, reused across thousands of other customers. So your unique logo shares its DNA with a crowd, and the trademark exposure is your problem, not theirs. Fine for a weekend placeholder. A genuinely bad bet for a brand you intend to build on. Second, the newest model, just because it's the newest? OpenAI retired DALL-E 3 in March 2026 and rolled everyone onto its GPT image line. And there will be a newer best by the time you finish watching. Chasing every launch is how you end up paying for 4 tools and finishing your work with none of them. Third, the beta you fell for in a slick demo. Figma's Make feature, for instance, is described in its own pricing as still in beta and not aimed at production-grade output, with a paid seat metered at around 3,000 AI credits a month. A demo is a promise. A beta is a promise with its fingers crossed. And fourth, treating a photo edit feature like Photoshop's generative fill as a whole design tool It's brilliant for fixing a background, but it renders about 1,000 pixels per pass and then upscales, so large fills go soft. None of these is bad at what it's actually for. They're just the wrong place to put your money and your Tuesday. Number 1, the test that isn't a tool. So number 1 isn't a tool, and I told you that in the first 30 seconds. It's the 4-question test you just watched do all the ranking, because the tools will turn over again next month and the test won't. Run it on anything before you pay. Does it survive revision 3? Or does it break what you wanted to keep? Does it stay on brand across a whole set, or does image 4 stop matching image 1? Can it hand off an editable file, or just a flat picture? And can you repeat the result next week, or was it a lucky roll? Watch how fast it sorts them. Midjourney aces is the first image stunning and fails, can I repeat it and can I edit the text? Recraft loses the beauty contest, but wins, can I hand off a real file? Canva shrugs at originality and quietly wins, can I do this again next Thursday in 10 minutes? Most tools pass 1 or 2 of those and fail the rest. And which ones they pass tells you precisely which job to hire them for, which is the only ranking that ever mattered. This is also why the skepticism is fair. In a named 2024 survey, about 1 in 5 professionals who tried these tools walked away unimpressed. They weren't wrong about the tools, they were running the demo test when they should have been running the Tuesday test. For most viewers, the takeaway is this: you don't need the best tool. You need the few that survive your real work and a way to judge the next shiny one yourself. Close. What I do tonight. Here's the move, and it takes about 10 minutes tonight. Name the one design job you actually repeat. Social posts, a logo, decks, brand assets, cleanup. Just one. Open the single tool from this list that fits that job and ignore the other 4 for now. Then look at what you're already paying for and cancel the one you subscribed to after a demo and haven't opened since. Fewer tools matched to your real work and a test that makes the next launch a non-event. I'll go first. For a real brand logo, I'd reach for the vector tool over the cheap logo maker every single time. Now tell me where I'm wrong. Which of these would you have ranked number 1 and which would you quietly cull? And if you could keep only one for your kind of work, which job is yours?